The Five Nights at Freddy's games are some of the most iconic horror games of all time. Starting from one small indie horror game to a massive free-roam title and a movie coming out, Scott Cawthon has made one of the most incredible horror series and has amassed one of the most dedicated fan-base communities of all time. Now, I have had the opportunity to play almost every single Five Nights at Freddy's game, and in this video, I'm going to rank them all from worst to best. I will be ranking Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, 4, Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, World, Help Wanted, Security Breach, and Ruin. I will not be ranking Ultimate Custom Night, AR, or the platform spin-offs, as they aren't really official games and more just side releases. Also, just a note, this is all my own opinion and your list might be different to mine, and that's okay. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail either, as I have explained my thoughts on most of these games in previous videos, but I'll do my best to summarize. So without further ado, let's get right into it. But first, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It helps out so much and I'll love you forever. Anyways, onto the ranking. Now, 2 games were contenders for the worst Five Nights at Freddy's game for me, and it took me a while to figure out which one I liked less. Both games caused me so much pain while playing. Both were mind-numbing experiences with unfair elements to make it all the more annoying. But after playing both games again, I finally decided which was worse. And that game is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yes, I know it's a fan favorite. I know I said in a previous video that it was my second favorite game, but after playing again for footage for this video, I have to admit, I really didn't enjoy my time with this game. The main thing about this game that separated it from the next game, over Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I didn't feel anything while playing. I felt like a task bot just repeating the same action over and over again, and if I died, I wasn't scared or angry, I just felt empty. I'd rather make a game make me feel something than absolutely nothing. I mean, 9 out of the 11 characters behave the same way, which makes it one of the most repetitive games in the series, and I just feel numb doing it. And the game that you all thought was going to be at the bottom, Sister Location. Okay, I played it at night and I enjoyed it. That's the main thing that separated it from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. However, that's the only thing this game is going for me. I hate this game. Playing this game just stresses me out, and not in a good horror way, more in the same way hardcore Minecraft does. The checkpoint system in this game sucks so much. If you die at the end of a night, you are sent all the way back to the start. And some of these nights drag on with the most boring and simple tasks that are so mind-numbingly easy. And the ones that are challenging are explained so poorly that you just die over and over and over again. The amount of just sitting around and listening to dialogue, oh my god, no. This game is bad. I'm sorry, I don't care how good the lore is, or the voice acting, or the jump scares. The jump scares are really good, but it's just not fun, and it causes me intense rage anytime I play it. If I want to get angry, I'll play like Getting Over It, or 50-20 mode. So FNAF World was the most recent game I've played, but for the most part it's not one I super enjoyed. And that was mainly due to the randomness of it all, when you'd get attacked by something. In most RPG games, you have the option to walk up to things you want to fight, while in this game, at any point, you can be thrown into a fight, and it gets super annoying super quick. I'll be trying to get to one place and just all of a sudden be thrown into a battle. It's definitely not a boring game, and if this one thing didn't exist, I would place it much higher. It's definitely a lot of fun. But this one single feature drags this game all the way down for me. It is fun, don't get me wrong, but there are way more fun RPG games out there. The most recent addition to the Five Nights at Freddy's catalog is Ruin, which I know is technically a DLC and not actually a game, but it treats itself like a Security Breach sequel with its own narrative, unique mechanics, and own objectives that go on for long enough to be considered an actual game. I think it takes like an hour and a half or 2 hours to beat. Now, I will talk about Security Breach later, but for me, Ruin is a lot worse in my opinion. The idea of wearing a mask that allows you to glitch through walls is fucking laughable. And although it is definitely a lot scarier, when the game is as broken as Security Breach, it doesn't work. Granted, it is a lot more polished, but it still feels unfinished. Not to mention, I think the plot is a bit dumb as well. As if you were really going to listen to Gregory. And again, the whole virtual reality world doesn't fit with this game. The idea of a rundown pizzaplex could have worked if it was once again trying to escape. But have it be Gregory trying to escape from under the pizzaplex. You know, he survived because Freddy protected him. I don't fucking know. Just something else from what we got. I feel like this DLC was a huge letdown for me personally. And although there are things I do like about this game, it's not enough to save it. Now, Help Wanted is the hardest to judge because I've only played it twice at my friend's house and I haven't played through every experience. But I have played enough for me to judge it in my opinion. It is absolutely the scariest game in the series, not even close. I mean, nothing can prepare you for seeing these characters literally being right in front of your eyes and you being able to interact in the world around you. The parts and service sections are fucking terrifying, and the fear of messing up sits with you the entire time. Now, the only reason I haven't placed this higher is because I personally do not have a lot of experience with VR, and I found the horror was anything going for it. Gameplay wise, once the horror was taken out of the equation, it became quite dull by comparison. However, it's probably not a fair assumption, as I actually don't have any hours of the game, but I couldn't place it anywhere else but here. Pizzeria Simulator was one of the most unique games I have played, and definitely has the most content so far. Playing it casually with a friend, off camera, made me see just how good this game is. The tycoon section is very addicting and a lot of fun, and the whole game is rather humorous, both intentionally and unironically. However, the salvage and office parts of this game are once again terrifying. It's unpredictable and unsettling. It's definitely a highly tense moment when you're in your office trying to be quiet, and the goddamn ads pop up. Now, one thing about this game I don't like are the design of the characters themselves. To be honest, as scary as the office and salvage sections are, the designs aren't 100% convincing. Babies is quite unnerving, but even then I'm not sold. The jump scares are not that great in my opinion, and that's a real shame because everything else about this game is great. The minigames, figuring out ways to make money and strategizing. I will say personally, I'm not really into games like Tycoon style, so this is why I placed it where I did, but it's definitely one of the better games in the franchise. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. However, I just find Security Breach so unbelievably fun. I mean, yes, it's a terrible game, but it has a lot of character and there's a lot of sections that I do love in main gameplay, like the Endo section, the parts and service, and oh my god, the fucking daycare. I love this section. I find this game so funny too. This is an example of something being so bad that it's good. I like a lot of the concepts of this game, it just wasn't polished very well, but that lack of polish makes for some unbelievably funny moments to be sure. I love the characters in this game, although I wish some had more use, and I hate Chico if I'm being honest. This game had a lot of potential, and had it been done right, and maybe put a bit more horror aspects into the game, it probably would have been my favourite. However, there were a few things setting it back, besides the obvious, mainly the fact that this game has one of the worst checklist systems in any game. Freddy will say he marked something on your map. No, he didn't. It will tell you to go to the arcade. There's like 50, and whatever the actual fuck mazer size is, seriously, how the fuck did people figure this out? It's so dumb. But besides all that, the main reason this game is where it is because it's so fun, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of playing this game. If I had to pick the Five Nights at Freddy's game that was the most underrated, it would be Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This game is very good, a lot better than most people give it credit for. It's definitely scarier than a lot of the other games, with its creepy metallic ambience, the lack of clear visuals, and the sound of Springtrap walking through the halls. Springtrap's design is incredible and super unsettling. The amount of mystery surrounding him creates this uneasy feeling, as you never truly know who or what is approaching your office. The gameplay itself I personally find super enjoyable, as you have to pay attention to make sure you don't lose track of Springtrap. It's one of the few games where I'm always on the edge of my seat, refusing to take my eyes off the screen. It's so hard to see him, and yes, while the jump scares aren't that good and the phantoms constantly attacking you can desensitize you, the actual gameplay itself is quite enjoyable and can definitely be challenging, and if you're skilled enough, you can deal with anything. Now, like Security Breach, I understand a lot of people don't like this game, and that's okay. I play these games based on how much I enjoy the games personally, and I enjoy coming back to this one a lot. I think it's just an awesome game with a lot to offer. However, it is definitely nowhere near as good as these next two games. A lot of people would agree that Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is an absolute classic. What's not to love? This is a truly terrifying game, and it's a contender for one of the scariest games in the series. It is one of the only games that you can truly call a real horror game. This game innovated the horror game genre, having you trapped in a single spot and unable to move. All you can do is defend yourself against the threats coming towards you. Everything about this game just screams horror. The fear of the unknown is ever present. The sound ambience in this game is some of the best of all time. Everything from the fan to the monitors moving back and forth, Freddy's laugh, the hallucinations, the characters moving through the halls, the droning hum of the building, it's all amazing. The character designs are classic, these unsettling children entertainers that hunt you. Why do they hunt you? There's no life behind those eyes, and yet they're coming for you, playing games with you. This game is amazing and could easily be considered the best in the franchise. However, there's one more game on this list that I think does everything that this game did, but better. In my mind, no Five Nights at Freddy's game will ever be as perfect as FNAF 4. This game does everything right. I go into more detail in this video here, but I'll give a quick summary. This game is super fun, having some super engaging, tense, and most importantly, fair gameplay. There's no unfair RNG, no super repetitive action, no drawn out dialogue. All there is in this game is horror. The game is so frightening. Hear the characters move through the hallways, the frettles getting louder, and the breathing. You feel tense every time you hear that breathing. Juggling everything together, and then on night 5 of Fredbear, and the first time you hear that laugh, it's bone chilling. This game does everything right in my opinion, and deserves the title of the best FNAF game. And that just about does it. Again, I want to state that this is entirely my opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's completely fine. I have no problems if you're feeling that way. Let me know your ranking in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Just let's try and be respectful. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind. Have a great day everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.